I understand there's some kind of award ceremony happening this evening. All right. Well, before we do any of that, we have some business to take care of, and I'm a businessman, so we're going to do business before we do anything else. All right? So I want to thank you first and foremost for being here for the Mass Access Annual Meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. And we'll open the meeting tonight at 7:01. And the first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of last year's annual meeting. So those were all sent out earlier. So if someone would make a motion to accept those minutes. Thank you. So moved. Can I have a second, please? Second. All right. Any discussion on the minutes of last year's annual meeting? Yes, may I help you, sir? Oh, no, we're not there yet. You're bad at business. If there's no other discussion, I would move the vote. How many vote to approve last year's minutes? Say aye. Any opposed to approving them? None. All right. You all did well. I'm proud of you. Good business. All right. The next item on this fabulous agenda, this business-filled agenda, what kind of business meeting would be complete without a financial report? So I would like to hand things over to the Mass Access Treasurer, Ms. Nancy Albertson, everyone.
Thank you, David. All right, I'll try to make this as painless as possible. I'm going to talk numbers, because that's what I do as treasurer, numbers. All right, so our total income for 2022, oh, thank you. Do I need to get close? Can you hear me all right? All right. Okay, so our total income for 2022 was $96,158.36. So membership dues made up 51% of that income. 30% came from sponsorships and vendor contributions. That percentage includes events and conferences such as our fall meet and greets and our spring conferences. And along with our annual sponsors, I lumped that into one percentage. And 19% of that comes from what we brought in from Mass Creator Awards last year. We took in nearly $9,000 last year, which was, we took in nearly $9,000 more than we did in 2021, to be clear. So we did better this year than last year. Our total expenses, however, they did increase, and I'll explain that in a moment. So our total expenses last year were $67,252.84. So our top three expenses were from professional fees, the MMX server, and special events such as our spring conference and the fall meet and greets. Now keep in mind that our spring conference in 2021 was virtual, so that kept our expenses low, and in 2022 we actually held it in person, so obviously expenses were going to go up due to that fact. Our total net income was $28,905.52. Another financial note that I wanted to make, the Mass Access Board approved to move $15,000 from our savings into an investment account. So we've had this account since May of 2022. The value has gone back and forth slightly. If anyone else is following the market, you know it hasn't been doing great. But we have managed not to really lose much of anything, but not really gain much of anything. As of yesterday, its current value is only $15,262.36. So like I said, not doing much movement. I'd like to remind everyone that our expenses are all operational. We do not have personnel cost. Everyone on the board volunteers their time. And all that income that we receive goes back towards the mission exactly where it should go. And I want to thank all of the Mass Access members, and I would like to thank our sponsors. Judging from the statistics I gave you earlier, those percentages, obviously our income, we rely on members and we rely on our sponsors. So thank you so much for for your support. And with that, I'd like to hand it back to David.
Thanks, Nancy. So a few more things on the agenda for tonight. First of all, I wanted to recognize all of the Mass Access Board members who are in attendance tonight. Katie Duval is here. Katie, let's give us a wave. Jonathan Grabowski, my friend in the back. You just met Nancy Albertson. Rob Chapman is here. Hey, Rob, way in the back. Liz Harkins? Where's Liz? Oh, hey. And Brendan Holland is here as well. So you'll get to see all these fine people later on in the evening. And I do want to say a few words about an outgoing board member who has been on the board for several years now and is stepping away due to some changes. So I really have grown to appreciate this person, not just in a professional sense, but in a personal sense too. I'm the kind of person who sometimes needs a little bit of grounding, and I can always count on this person to sort of bring me back to earth and get me to take a breath and see the large scope of things. And she will certainly be missed. We have a little something for her somewhere, and I would like you to put your hands together for Carol McGilvery, please. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Would you like to say a few words for us?
Sure. It's really great to be part of this board. I've learned a lot. They're a great group of people, and they're so important to community media. So if you're not more involved with Mass Access, I urge you to do so. And it's been a wonderful experience. So thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Oh, and presents and hugs. Thanks, Katie. And now I'd like to introduce, he is not here tonight, but we have added a new board member, Jonathan Boshin, who is the general manager of Frontier Community Access Television, will be joining the board in 2023. And that's really exciting on a couple of fronts, mostly because we're always looking for more representation from the western part of the state. Brendan is our guy out there, but it'll be nice to have at least two guys out there now, right? So that'll be great. We look forward to working with Jonathan. And good news is we're going to have 3 members who have renewed their terms. So the new 3-year terms for Rob Chapman, Jonathan Grabowski, and Nancy Albertson. So hooked back in. We also have officers of the organization. I have been convinced to be the president for at least another year, so you're stuck with me. Katie Duval is going to be the vice president once again, and thank you, Katie, for doing that and also being a wonderful presence. Nancy has agreed to be our treasurer for another year, so thanks to Nancy. And Jonathan Grabowski is going to take the thankless job of being the clerk, so thank you for that, Jonathan. Appreciate that. So anybody who gets anywhere within earshot of me and listens, and if it's anything like my house, that's nobody, but I am always sort of preaching flexibility, right? And I just think our industry and our organizations are changing so rapidly with technology, right? Everything's changing all the time. The way we used to operate doesn't work anymore. Your staff has to do so much more. You're not getting the same amount of member participation that you used to get. You know, the demand is getting higher. and the resources are getting lower. And it's very difficult at times, right? So I am always saying, well, you've got to remain flexible. And I get frustrated when I see, organizations that were so dynamic during the pandemic, and then they kind of went, well, everything's back to normal, so we'll just go back to normal. And I think that's the wrong tack to take. And I was honestly in kind of a tough spot over last fall, because I felt like mass access, we were doing that too. We just got right into, well, let's do the fall meet and greets, and then we're gonna start planning for the Creator Awards, then we're gonna start planning for the spring conference, and then we're gonna start planning for the fall meet and greets, and then we're gonna do the Creator Awards. And it's this huge cycle where we're doing just the same stuff, going through those motions, making sure we check those boxes. And I didn't feel great about that. I didn't feel at all good about it. And I just felt like, we are looked upon, whether we like it or not, as leaders and trailblazers at times, right? So we all got together and we had one agenda item meeting. And it was, what can we do? I think mass access needs to progress. We need to stop doing what we're doing all the time and just doing the same things and banging our heads against the wall. We, as a volunteer board, don't have that same kind of time. We used to say all the time, if you're running for a mass access board position, you should be ready to give probably 10 hours a week of your working time, to the mass access organization. We don't do that much anymore. We can't. Our jobs have all changed. We can't do that. We can't afford to give that same amount of time. So things were starting to slip. Things were starting to fall through the cracks, and I was not pleased. So we had a long talk, and, for the first time since I know I've been involved, and I think it's the first time for this organization, we've made the decision that we are going to hire a part-time employee of the organization that's going to start to take on some of the more administrative things, that we try to tackle. Membership databases, social media and communications. Katie, help me out. What else is on that job description that we wrote? Other stuff that we put on that job description. Event planning, that was the biggest thing, right? Of course, event planning. And what I'm hoping is if we have somebody who's doing that stuff, now our board can spend more time working on legislation, working on solutions for you, working on having a better system of doling out advice and resources, so that when you hit that critical dip to where you say, I gotta lay somebody off, or I can't pay my rent anymore, you'll be able to call us and we'll be able to give you some real resources, real good advice. I'm hoping at least people to go and talk to, at least a road to take. Because nobody wants to have this conversation, folks. But it's coming, whether we want it or not. So it's really our goal going forward to try to remain flexible and try to evolve ourselves. I think our industry needs to evolve, and that's going to have to start with us, right? This state boasts the highest concentration of community media centers in the country. And whether or not they would, go ahead. And I know across the region, across the state, across the country, everybody goes, oh, there goes Massachusetts again. Hey, it is what it is, right? We are the hotbed. We are where it is, all right? So we need to do better. Us as a board, you as professionals, everybody has to have a hand in what we are doing to move forward. And it's got to be constant progression. So, don't be like my house. Listen to me. All right? That's all I have to say. Thank you. That's my lecture for the evening. And next up, every year Mass Access likes to bestow an award on a state or federal legislator who has gone above and beyond while advocating for community media here in the Commonwealth. And in the past, if you can believe it, sometimes that chore is a little difficult when you're picking someone who advocates for you. Well, as was the case last year when we honored Representative Joan Moschino, it was a real easy pick again this year. Senator Jason Lewis was born in South Africa and came to the United States with his family when he was 12 years old. And his experience growing up in a segregated society, as South Africa was under the racist apartheid system at the time, grounded him in a deep sense of social justice, and he has been outspoken on issues of racial, gender, and LGBTQ equality. Senator Lewis has a long history of public service, a member of the Mass House of Representatives from 2008 to 2014, and the Mass Senate from 2014 to the present. Senator Lewis is the presenting legislator for the newly refiled and newly renamed SD 1343, an act to modernize funding for community media programming. Yes, yes. Simply put, Senator Lewis utilizes community media, and he understands and supports community media, and I'm proud to present the 2023 Mass Access Legislator of the Year to Senator Jason Lewis.
There you are, sir. Look at that.
Microphone is all yours.
Well, thank you so much, David, and good evening, everybody. I'm well aware that I'm standing between you and a comedian, and while I like to think that I can crack a joke at the St. Patrick's Day breakfast roast coming up in my district in March, we're starting to write the jokes now. If my wife were here tonight, she would say, "Honey, I love you, but you are not very funny." So I'll keep this brief. It is a pleasure to join you tonight, especially on this occasion where I know you will be recognizing the incredible work being done across Massachusetts by so many talented and dedicated community media stations and creators. And I want to offer my congratulations to all of the nominees for awards tonight and all those who will be winning awards in all these categories. And I am truly honored to be receiving this recognition as Legislator of the Year, particularly following in the shoes of my friend and colleague, Representative Moschino, who received it last year. Over 300 of the 351 cities and towns that make up the Commonwealth of Massachusetts have a local cable access station. From Pittsfield to Provincetown and from Salisbury to Sandwich, local community media is fulfilling a critical role in our civic life. With the unfortunate demise of many local newspapers and the adoption of remote and hybrid public meetings during the pandemic, which we fully expect to continue post-pandemic, local cable access stations and your programming are more important than ever. I recently completed a constituent survey because we just started a new legislative session, and I want to hear from my constituents in terms of what their priority issues are. And so we distributed the survey all across my district, which is just north of Boston. It includes Malden, Melrose, Reddingstone, and Wakefield, and my hometown of Winchester. And at the end of the survey, we also asked respondents how they find out about local news and events. Many of them said that one of the main sources that they rely upon is local cable access TV, local community media. And of course, as David mentioned, I know firsthand how important community media is because I use it myself. Ever since I was first elected as a state representative and now as a state senator, I've always done a local show to update my constituents as to what's happening in the community and what's happening on Beacon Hill. And I'm always looking for new ways to engage with my constituents, and community media is a critical piece of that. On Beacon Hill, as you heard, we just started a new legislative session. We have 2-year sessions. And last week, I was very proud to refile in the State Senate an act to modernize funding for community media programming. And as you know, Representative Joan Machino has filed basically the identical bill in the House of Representatives. This bill, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, would impose really a modest fee on video streaming services based on how much revenue they generate in Massachusetts. And that would provide a new revenue stream to help support community media and obviously help offset the decline in cable franchise fees that we've been seeing in the past number of years. So this is critical legislation, and I really appreciate, David, your personal efforts and the efforts of the Mass Access Board, as well as I know many of you who have been championing this legislation already for several years on Beacon Hill and in your communities. I want to urge you to redouble your efforts to reach out to your own state representatives and state senators. Hopefully you know who they are, but if you don't, you can easily find out. Please reach out to your state representatives and state senators any way that you can. The best way is to meet with them in person. They probably all have office hours. They probably show up at your station from time to time, so hopefully you know them. And talk to them about why this legislation is needed. Don't assume that they know what the problem is. Talk to them about why it's needed and ask them for their support. And one of the ways they can show their support for the bill right now is they can co-sponsor it. So they can co-sponsor the Senate bill that I filed, and they can co-sponsor the House bill that Representative Machino filed. And that is a way right now that our colleagues can all show their support for this legislation. Thank you all, in closing, for the great work that you do every day to connect and strengthen our communities. And thank you again for bestowing this honor on me. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
Take the box so it doesn't get wet, you know? Another hand for Senator Jason Lewis, please. Rep. Moschino is famous for saying that the legislative process is slow and determinate for a reason. You know, things need to be vetted. So as frustrated as we all get sometimes, understand that we are making progress. We are making noise. And if we're going to solve this problem, if we're going to survive into the future, it's all going to be done together. All right? And thanks, Senator Lewis, again. He's one of the good ones, so buy that guy a drink. All right. So I just want to thank both Nancy and Brendan, who have done the bulk of the work to pull off this great event this evening. And right now I'm going to welcome Brendan up to the stage, and he's going to get us going on the rest of the evening. So thanks very much.
So before I announce our next guest for this evening, I want to just do 2 quick housekeeping things. First off, they're in your program booklet. I would really like to thank our sponsors this evening. In addition to all of you members who help support what we do, we could not do it without our sponsors. And tonight on board, we have Telview and Castus and JML Lighting. So, please, a round of applause for their donation. Please take advantage of our professionally lit step and repeat. We have a camera crew from Marshfield here today who is taking great photos that will be available on our website. So make sure to take a photo with your friends over at the step and repeat at some point tonight. The only other thing, and I know I'm going off script, David spoke about it when I joined the board at this exact event 3 years ago in January of 2020. I walked into the room and didn't know a single person in here. And the first person who came up to me and introduced themselves and hung out with me all night so I wouldn't be lonely was someone who started off as a colleague and has become a friend, Carol McGilvray, who's leaving our board. So I just really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you've done for me in my time on this board. And you better still show up to all of this stuff. And thank you, to all my other board members. Yeah. So tonight we have a special guest. Focus Springfield, out in the western part of the state, opened its doors in 2014. And about 3 months after we opened, we got a cold call from a middle schooler in the city who said, hey, I want to make some videos. And we weren't even really open yet. And we said, who the hell is this kid? He came in and made the greatest sketch comedy in front of a green screen, playing all the characters in these bits and layering it on top of each other. Think like, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall in Coming to America. Like really, really funny stuff. Transitioning into man-on-street things. Then we hired him on when he was in high school to do a lot of our government meetings. He's been a friend of ours for years. He ended up moving down to New York City after college to pursue his stand-up comedy career. And it was a really sad day when we could no longer pay him to do the things we didn't want to do. But I would like to welcome to the stage my friend, Zool Manzi.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give another round of applause for this great Creator Awards for Mass Access. Another round of applause. Yeah. And also, let's give another round of applause for all of you guys for attending tonight. This is a great turnout. So, yeah, give your hands an applause right now. Yeah. 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 And I know it's going to be pretty painful because I know some of y'all are going to lose tonight. So I know y'all thinking I drove all the way out here just to lose in this rain, and might be snowing, it could be snowing, I don't know. The weather app is kind of janky right now. But that's okay, we're all here safe. Yeah, as Brandon alluded, I created the greatest sketch comedy show of all time that nobody ever heard of. And, it really was monumental for me because, the name of this show, it was titled Real Stories with Zulfiqar Manzi. And none of the stories were true. I just felt like I just had to make up a bunch of stories so that I could just get some views on YouTube. But the reason why I named it Real Stories with Zulfiqar Manzi particularly was because I just wanted my name to be in there. My name is Zulfiqar. So you can already tell just from my first name alone, I wasn't born here. I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts. And, it was so troublesome for me because, during class attendance, I went to school in Long Meadow. And for those of you who are not aware of Long Meadow, it's just not too diverse. And, during class attendance, man, it was so troublesome for me. Every time I walked into class in the morning, my teacher would grab the attention sheet and always went something like this. Good morning, students. Let's get started by reading the class attendance. Okay. All right, just drop. All right. Jack? Oh, hello, Jack. Emily? Oh, hello, Emily. This is gonna be a tough one. Okay, I'll try to sound it out. I'm here. I'm here. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. May you please pronounce your name? Mrs. McCruss, this is the 100th day of school. My name is Zulfika. Well, good morning, Zubumafil. Wow, like how do you all know the name of my tribe? So I shortened it to Zul, thinking that it would help me out later in life. However, it turned out it didn't. Because apparently the name Zul is a name of a movie character from a very popular movie from the 1980s. And I know we got a lot of media folks in here, and I'm guessing that y'all know what movie I'm talking about. So I can shout out 1 and 2 and 3, which movie from the 1980s had a character named Zul. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations. Y'all just won a great big old prize of nothing. I didn't know this until I started working at the district attorney's office. Now, while I was working there, you know, I was the only young brother in there making strides. And I was there just doing videography work. And I felt like it was conducive for me to start introducing myself, but not as Zulfika, but as Zul. So I introduced myself to one of the employees there. You know, a very kind, elderly white man named John. Say, hey, what's up, John? My name is Zul. Yes, Zul. Yes, my name is Zul. John looked at me as if he just saw like a big butt just walk past him. Well, that's different. Like Ghostbusters? Is that how you got your name? Come on, you know the movie Ghostbusters. You gotta relate to that. You know, Ghostbusters. Sorry, John, but I was a sperm in the 80s. So I went home, and I started thinking to myself, like, what did John mean? Like, Ghostbusters? You know, I never seen this movie, and Zul from Ghostbusters. I was just very confused by this. So once I got home, you know, I asked my best friend. I said, hey, Google. May you please let me know who is Zul from Ghostbusters? So my homie Google hooked me up. And as I was watching the film, I was appalled. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I don't think I should go by Zul anymore. Because I think you guys know what I'm talking about. You have seen the movie. The character Zul was a demon. So I'm thinking to myself, depending on how this night goes, better not cross the line with me. So I was just like really confused by this. And then, you know, I started to look more deeper, and I was like, you know what, I gotta start making some jokes about this. And then that's when I started doing the sketch comedy. And, you know, my whole goal, you know, my family actually originally came from Tanzania, which is in East Africa. And, you know, my goal was like, okay, let me try to incorporate more of myself because, again, people can't pronounce my name. People don't know where I'm from. So, you know, a lot of my skits, you know, I had one character by the name of Maburu Maburu, and which the name means absolutely nothing. And as Brandon alluded earlier, you know, I would just do a bunch of man on the street stuff, such as just selling stuff from Focus and just give it to random people on the street. And, you know, I thought that it was well-needed content. And the reason why I did that was because I was so annoyed with the image of African people on TV. Because before this Black Panther facade, the only representation of Africa I see on TV were like these 25-cent commercials. You guys know what commercials I'm talking about, right? Raise your hand if y'all ever donated. No worries, I'm not offended. You know, I was so appalled with these commercials because, you know, I'll be sitting back and I'll be watching my favorite TV show called The Wayans Brothers. And every time when these commercials come on, it always had the same redundant way. Every time. The commercial will come on, it always went something like this. These starving Matumbula kids need your help. They need you. We need you. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Please, call the number below. Y800 888 Rice. Hiya, hiya. I went to Tanzania this past summer. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I know these commercials are bogus, but let me really do some deep research with this. And I went to the village to pay respect to my grandparents' grave. And I was, you know, walking around the village and looking at these kids. I was like, wow. None of the kids look like that in those commercials. You know? It's all bogus and all really, really flabbergasted to me. because, the kids there, they're really comfortable with how they're living. They wear bootleg NBA jerseys, which is great. Instead of the LA Lakers, these brothers are walking around wearing the LA Rivers. Back in Massachusetts, I grew up in a Tanzanian community. It was very, very small, but how loud these people were, it seemed like it was humongous. I was forced to go to a lot of parties growing up, and because my parents didn't believe in babysitters. So I would be looking at these people in these parties. I was like, man, I got to get out of this environment, man, because, particularly, every party, some child used to just get beat all the time. And I made a comedy sketch about this when I was at Focus, and my community got mad at me. It was like, no, what are you doing? This is not true. This is not true. And I was like, aha, real stories with Tafika Manti. So, I had to battle against one of my uncles trying to explain to him, like, look, this is what you guys used to do. Because it seemed like one of my observations, in this video was that there were like 3 requirements that every Tanzanian parent uses to beat their kid. And this is when they got really mad at me. I said, number 1, a belt. Number 2, a stick. Number 3, miscellaneous. They were just so appalled with me. I was like, look, you guys want the truth, here it is. So, I put it up there and I had to battle against this blogger, and it was just really, really bad for me. My parents, they were strict. I feel like most immigrant parents has to be strict to their kids so that, they could turn out great in their life, which is why I'm doing stand-up comedy. But, the thing is, it's like I can understand, now looking back, I can understand why they were so strict. My parents were so strict that they didn't allow my older brother and I to play with water guns because they feared that if we would play with water guns, it would influence us to join a gang. I'm 25 years old, and I have yet seen a gang that do drive-by squirts. So instead of the Crips, my parents feared that my brother and I would be joining the Drips. I also heard that the Drips got beef with the Floods. We got to fix this up as a community. I got the great solution: towels. So everything was just always very mandated, and I understand. Even like I was in Tanzania this past summer, I was getting bombarded with marriage questions. It was just very, very annoying to me, and I was like, all right, I got to make a video of this. I need some ideas. So probably after this, I may have to get some. Pitch you guys some material because, my aunts were telling me, hey, Tafika, we need to get more grandchildren. And I was like, I don't know who you are. And genetically, I don't think that would work because you're my aunt. So I'm still trying to come up with a video for that, but it's going to be a real hassle. With my community and everything, back in Longmeadow, with my TV show, Real Stories with Tafika Manti, I haven't watched any of the sketches in a long time. So what I did instead, I created a animated cartoon series titled The Matumbalas, because I felt like, okay, if I'm gonna do these skits, I can't play multiple characters on the green screen background all the time, because it's just really, really hard. So instead, I just do voices by myself all the time. Which kind of like cuts away the wigs and whatnot. And I still left a bunch of my clothes at Focus that I still need to get back when I get home. But yeah, it's very interesting because, with the material that I had in Longmeadow, the students, they felt like, all right, I kind of was trying to one up on them. And particularly, in my chemistry class, there were some, nice, pretty young things that was in my class. And I thought that this would give a great moment for me to, to show them I'm a TV star. So I went to the intercom and I said, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is. Good morning, Longmeadow students. My name is Tafika Manti, and I got a great show for y'all titled Real Stories with Tafika Manti that's going to be airing on Channel 12. And y'all can tune in and see me doing all various of characters. So I went back to class and I was thinking that, all right, I just made my mark. As soon as I walked in, I had everything laid out. I was like, all right, this is my PR. The students in the class just looked at me and just said, so you have a TV show? Yeah, man, come on, man, you know what it is. It's the greatest sketch comedy show of all time. You dig? guys were looking at me, were just like, so how's the football game? They completely disregarded my whole show. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to get revenge on these guys someday. And they actually, most of them live in Boston. So how my parents moved from Tanzania to the United States, that's like how people from Long Meadow moved to Boston. So right now, as I'm trying to as I was looking back at my public access days, I went through, many different characters. Not as many characters that I witnessed on the Peter Pan bus today. I was planning on taking the Amtrak, but, I was too late buying that ticket. So I was like, all right, might as well go on this Peter Pan and, hope that it won't be too much of a fairy tale. But, luckily for me, I was like, all right, at least I would get some free material from this. So as I was just thinking, I was like, man, this is pretty strange of what's happening, because the type of characters that I witnessed is just illustrious. And I thought to myself, all right, back in my public access days, especially when I was at Focus, I was the only younger producer that was there. Most of the producers there were age 50 and up. So I was like, okay, I wonder how I'm gonna make some friends. So I was like, okay, maybe I can get some mentors. So one guy that I met, I can't say his name because he might be here. He had a show called Jazz for Jesus. And I was like, wow, okay. I already knew that Jesus was black, but I didn't know that we needed to have a show of him playing the sax to confirm it. There was a lady that was there. I have to say was because I'm not sure if she's still alive or not. She was probably the biggest egotistical person I ever met, who had the worst show that I ever seen in my life. She had a show where it was either these two premises. Either one of her nephews or nieces will have some type of birthday party, or it will be like a open casket funeral. And I was like, man, Vice got nothing on her. And one day I was just in the editing suite, and I was just kind of punching away one of my great fart sketches. And this lady, she was sitting right next to me, editing her open casket videos. And I was just peeping, and I was trying to pay no never mind to it. However, she started to have trouble with the volume. And I know you guys might be familiar. There's always going to be some person at one public access station that is just not tech savvy at all. So it was this person. So she was having so much trouble. It's like, how do I raise the volume on this computer? She kept tapping it. How do I do this? Bloom, 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 bloom. And I was like, oh, those are the drips. So I just kept editing away. I was like, come on, okay, I gotta put this, because I gotta, all right. And then she said, hey, she tapped on the table. Hey. I was like, yes. She was like, hey, look, I need you to raise this volume. She was never polite. She just always gave commands rather than, please, I need you to raise this volume for me right now. So it's like, okay, let me show you how to raise a volume on a computer. So this is a keyboard, right? You see those 3 buttons? You see the shape there? It looks like speakers. So when there's more than 3 lines, that means up. If it's less than 2 lines, that means down. When it's crossed, that means mute. So if I press this, bloom, play your video, well, it's silenced because it was an open casket funeral. And you will see that the video volume is effective. She was so in awe by this. She could not believe her eyes. And I could not believe my eyes watching this damn video. So she looked at me, and this is in verbatim what she told me. This is the first time I ever had a woman look deep in my eyes before. She looked right deep in my eyes, and she asked me, hey, "Are you a prophet?" I was like, "Huh?" She said, "Are you a prophet?" I took a second to respond because I was like, all right, this might be a golden opportunity for more material. So, I had to break it down to her, and I was like, look, I'm not a prophet, I'm sorry, but if I raise the volume again, you might see some more surprises. Sorry, I'm not a prophet. But then I started to think, I was like, wait a minute. She has bad, temporary memory loss. So I was like, maybe I should come back tomorrow and tell her that I am a prophet. But not just any prophet, but I'm a prophet of raising volumes. Because I was thinking to myself, okay, my name Zool, volume, kind of rhymes. So I was like, Prophet Zulium. Doesn't that sound like some mythical character from the Bible? It does, right? Yeah, I see. I just thought of this right now. I should have done it back then, but I don't know what happened to her because this is important to the story. She had type 2 diabetes, which is very unfortunate. Now, why is this important to the story? Because she always used to drink like liters of Brisks all the time, and I don't know if this was like supposed to help. Like, I'm not really sure if this was like her way to get out of this life, but she was like completely fine to drinking these Brisks. And I was looking at this lady and I was thinking to myself like, if she continues to drink these Brisks, the season finale of her show is gonna be her in that casket. Well, I'm tuning in for that one. Yeah, so anyways, I got plenty more stories, about my time, and I feel like, this was like a great way for me to actually unleash it. So this is my therapy session, and I'm glad that you guys were really intuitive to hear me going through my my battles. But stay tuned, because I definitely got some more stories to share sometime soon, and enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.
Hi! That wasn't supposed to happen. Well, I hope you didn't run into my evil twin brother a little while ago. 'Cause that guy's an asshole. Oh, he doesn't even know it's supposed to be a party, right? Is this a party? First time out, Mass Access? Is it a party? Yes! So I'm at the eye doctor the other day, right? All right, jerks. It'll happen one time to you, too. You'll be up there telling eye doctor stories before you know it. So I'm at the eye doctor, right? And I'm doing the exam before the exam. You know that part where there's a eyeball technician and she's in there and she's asking you questions, and she's a very, very capable, very personable young woman, probably in her 20s, and she's going over my case file, and she says, okay, sir, well, I see you had the retina surgery, and then you had the cataract surgery. Is there any other changes to your vision since the last time we saw you? I said, isn't that enough? She said, no, like with your left eye. And I was like, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So it went relatively well, right? So the whole reason I tell you this story is because I don't see very well. So if I'm gonna make any mistakes, you're gonna have to be forgiving with me, all right? So to finish up the story, she says to me, all right, sir, go ahead and just read that top, just cover your left eye and read the top line. So I go, What line? Why are you doing this to me? That was the end of it. I couldn't read the line. I couldn't read anything. That was the whole reason I was there. So be nice. All right? I promise I'll be good now. We're going to give away some awards. I have, thank you. My eye doctor story went over like a lead balloon. Thanks a lot. It's okay. You got to take chances in life, folks. You got to take chances in life. You remember what Leslie Nielsen said? He said, you take chances every day. Getting up in the morning, crossing the street, or sticking your face in the fan. It's a chance you got to take. All right. So you know the deal on the Creator Awards, right? So we don't judge them. I don't know who won any of these, to be honest with you. 100%. I have no idea. So I could completely screw this up. All right? I think Brendan might be the only one in the room who knows who won. And he didn't rig it, I promise. We should thank our judges if we didn't. If there are any of the judges that are here in attendance tonight, we do thank you for giving your time. These are media professionals, mostly, and I think probably all, outside of community media too. So we try not to stack our own deck, so to speak. All right? So let's get to it. We've got some awards to give out. And the first category, see, I already dropped something. First category is the news. Here are the finalists.
Good evening, Boston. Welcome to BNN News. It's Friday, October 7th, 2022. I'm Faith Maffedon. Thanks for tuning in. Thousands came out this Sunday to walk for a cure at the Dana-Farber Jimmy Fund Walk, and the stories that these families and fighters told were remarkable and inspiring. With their running shoes and red shirts on, thousands walked for the Jimmy Fund on Sunday for the first time since 2019.
So we're not expecting a significant turnout, I don't think, in either city, from what we can tell.
There really hasn't been that one issue that really riles people up like we've seen in previous elections.
Yeah.
Even in 2017 in Leominster, you had the issues with the school budget,
right,
which really drove out turnout in what was technically an uncontested race.
On today's Local Matters, we learn why secondhand is a great first choice at Local Mystique Thrift Shop. Visit with grief specialist and author Gary Sturgis and talk about upcoming events and resources in our South Shore towns. I'm Elizabeth Shanahan-Jewett. Let's get started.
All right. I know you're all really curious. The winner is Local Matters from PAC TV.
We are building a religion. We are building it bigger. We are widening the corridors and adding more lanes.
Yeah, I think I lost that thing you gave me to tell me who was coming up. Oh, yeah, right. I can't see. God, no. All right. Thanks a lot, Brendan. Okay. We have the next category. I'm going to have our old friend, Katie Duvall, come up here, and she's going to introduce the winner. So let's hear it for Katie. Doing a great job, Katie.
I'm quite short. Also, that's not my name. That says Grabowski.
Katie Grabowski, everybody.
Where's Jonathan? No, Jonathan Jonathan will do the next one. Okay, where are my things?
You're doing,
This
you gotta do this first.
Okay. Welcome to the Creator Awards, everyone. All right, so documentary.
Oh, look at that.
What do you mean don't look at
Oh, we
this?
got the winner on it.
What am I supposed to? Oh,
Say, here are the finalists.
right. We watched the videos. There's no script this year. We had a script last year. I knew what I was doing, and now I have no clue. Here are the finalists.
I went to summer camp as a kid. I went to the Y. I had a great time. I went all summer long, every year. And I was really influenced by a lot of the counselors I had. They always made me feel super special, so I wanted to have the same opportunity where I could make kids feel special.
Over the last years since I've worked here, I think it has increased my leadership experience.
So I've actually been coming here since I was 4.
We are in this area, Cape Cod, that Hopper lived nearby in Truro. It is interesting to be in the same spot that Hopper saw when he was here and, still observe, and things have changed a little bit, but some things remain relatively the same.
I started seeing like similarities, or at least, things that he was looking at that I found in my paintings too. And one thing I really love about his work is that there's this impression that he's actually capturing, this real spot.
All the people we met, it was just amazing. People just opened their hearts. Some people invited us into their homes. At first, when somebody would say, "Do you need a bottle of water?" we'd say, No, we've got everything, we're all set. But then we started saying, wait a minute, why don't we take this opportunity to stop and talk to them about the mission that we're on? And that's when it really became more heartwarming. I have a niece who lives right here in Fairhaven. Her name is Libby Montigny, my sister Heidi's daughter. She's had cystic fibrosis ever since birth.
And the winner is In the Light of Hopper, Lower Cape TV.
Don't think shit, stink pink gators. My Detroit players, Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. That's dead right, if the head right, Biggie there, every night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules.
Or Cape TV got the beats. That's pretty good. Yeah. Lower Cape TV is funky. All right. Well, that eye doctor story is getting less and less funny as the night goes on. All right. This time it's going to be Jonathan Grabowski coming on up here to give out an award for Best Hosting. Jonathan, everybody.
So 2 quick things. One is a PSA to my fantastic staff who are doing photos. If you win, please go over to the step and repeat afterwards. And David, you're going to put me in a whole boatload of trouble tomorrow if this tape gets out. So next category up is Best Hosting, and here are the nominees.
Now, I understand that you like to fly. That was kind of, wow, she flies.
Yeah.
What do you fly? Single engine.
Single engine, yeah.
Where did that come from?
My parents. My parents both flew it at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They actually met at the little airport where they were taking lessons.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Flying is just in the family. I have cousins who fly. My uncle used to fly.
Okay, so you were an adventurer.
I know what this next one is. I can tell by the color. That's eggplant.
Eggplant, my wife's favorite. She loved. It's in the nightshade family, and we have some mini globes, some Japanese style. They're long and slender, and we've got some here and some in the next bed. We'll show you later. But my wife loved eggplant, so. Eggplant it is,
Followed by some peppers. These look more like the bell style peppers, but they got all different colors.
This one intrigues me. This is White City that
many of us that grew up in the area, that was
Closed
an
in 19
amusement park.
It opened in 1905-6
Yeah.
and closed in 1960 when I was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
So I drove to
It
it.
became the movie theater, yeah. Well, that was the big
Yeah,
thing,
remember that? Right on the corner. And now it's still White City
It's still White-
sign.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they used to bring all kinds of entertainment there, and this girl's about to dive off. There's another picture, a person would ride a horse off of a ramp right into the water, jump in the water, riding on the back of a
At
horse.
White City.
White City.
And today, it's my honor to be joined by the Torah sisters, Sheila Palais, Judith Weinberg, and Marlene Yesley, all residents of Newbridge on the Charles, who are here to talk with us about a special project that they got involved in almost like magic. I want to start, please, with Sheila.
And the winner is 15 Minutes of Fame with guest Anna Marie Smith, Peabody TV.
I wonder if that movie theater is still on the corner. I love Boston. Okay. You remember back in the day when I used to, hey, look who's here. It's Brendan, everybody. He's going to do the short format category. I was going to say, remember we used to describe these categories, but who's got time for that? He's a busy guy. He's going to go all the way back to Springfield. Brendan.
Busy guy who somehow put 10 seconds of pre-roll on all of these, so sorry, I apologize for that. Next up, we're going to hear from one of my favorite categories, the short format category.
Hi, I'm Kim Tynan, and I own and operate a small business here in Westboro called Simply Soap. Simply Soap is located very close to the Rotary, downtown Westboro. It's located in the old mill building. A lot of people are familiar with Westboro Yoga is here. We're actually in Suite 99, which is street side right in the front. Just this past year, in March, I moved into this new space, so it's a newly renovated space here in Westboro. I love that I can make everything here on site, and then we also have the retail.
It never takes too long.
Music is a universal language. We're able to learn from each other and communicate in a much more emotional way. It's also a matter of heart. Being able to put yourself out there, that is a really difficult thing to do.
I don't want to fall another moment in your gravity.
And the winner of the short format category is the Plymouth International Acapella Trailer from Plymouth Ed TV.
Yeah. Feel it, baby. I do too.
Okay. This corner of the room is beating all of you, by the way, in the noise factor, which is great. Next up is the innovation category, and one of the most innovative people I know is Liz Harkins, everybody. We gotta have a switch in details here. So here comes Liz, she's gonna do her thing. Eventually. She's coming up. You can tell we rehearsed this quite a bit. Hi, Liz. Here's your envelope.
All right. So for the nominees, let's run that video.
As you enter the public access exhibit, you'll notice a diverse selection of event coverage from the community. A city of over 100,000 residents, Quincy has a wide array of happenings. Cultural, civil, religious, sporting, and veteran events are part of the fabric of Quincy, and QATV brings these events into the lives of residents.
Hasn't been used in months, can't even go without getting the bumps. I look in the mirror, forgot who I am, forgot who I was. This must be the drugs. Walk out the door, 2 rooms on my left. I don't even bother, go back down the steps. I set on my mic, rehearsing my raps. What you say is adding up, and my sorry's not enough. At this party, feeling stuck, rolling up a blunt. Sorry if I'm blunt. Haven't prayed, haven't talked to you, got it over a month.
By 1762, Benjamin's 1680 house had fallen apart, and the L was detached and moved to its current location, where you are standing today. Over time, this building became known affectionately as the Peak House because of its remarkably tall peak, the highest on record in Massachusetts for a building of its age. Generations of new owners or renters shaped the history of the Peak House, each leaving behind fragments of pottery and glass, bits of wood, metal.
And the winner of the innovation category is Ryan Gray. Meet you at the door, Quincy Access Television.
I get up in the evening, and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning.
So I just wanted to take a quick second to let everybody know that we have confirmed and finalized our date for our spring conference. So that'll be June 16th. So location is still to be determined, but please keep an eye out for it because we hope to see you all there. Thank you.
All right. I know I say it every year, but standing here, I'm always really amazed at the high quality of the content that you guys are producing. So, I mean, we don't give enough love, I don't think, to all of the finalists and all of the entrants. You know, the winners get all the love, but, you know, give yourself a round of applause for just being here. Some of this stuff is really amazing. All right. One of my favorite categories from one of my favorite people, Nancy Albertson. Here comes Nancy. Here she is. Look at that.
All right, so I will be introducing podcasting, and the nominees are...
What I read, it's, you know, you learn to fish from her and do all of these sort of activities that she was modeling for you. And you know, and sort of said, well, that's somebody that I want to follow and emulate, right? That, like, she inspired that out of you.
Yes, it's amazing because, yeah, she certainly did. And she also really, really didn't want me to have the same life that she had.
Sure, yeah.
Most of the time, she's in the middle of closing a big deal with a business or corporation that's Christmas themed, a chocolatier or a toy company. It's usually a toy company. Now, the reason she comes home is because a loved one is in trouble, but not serious trouble, like the bank wants to foreclose on their doghouse or something, or because she's inherited a busted-up old farmhouse and has to renovate it. Enter rule number 2, the male lead. Usually a carpenter, a handyman, or a town sheriff, or all of the above.
You guys kind of touched this, but how has it evolved over the years? The first year we had probably 6 or 8 teams, maybe 150 people attend. How many think was that? May not have been that many. We made money because I did take back all my expenses, and I was very proud of that. Look, we made money. It evolved, and we grew it, and that was held at North Community Church on the Parish House lawn and the parking lot. We were there for probably 4 or 5 years, and the event did start to grow.
Okay. And the winner is Open Here, Autonomy of a Hallmark Movie Pack TV.
Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined.
I hate that song. Sorry. It's getting late for a little guy like me. I tend to get a little crabby. Rob Chapman. Was Rob Chapman here? Come on up here, Rob. Got a job for you to do. Rob is one of the newest Mass Access Board members, and he's an all-around swell fella. So give him another round of applause.
There you are, sir. Good evening, everybody. It's really great to be at my first Creator Awards. I'm excited to meet all you people. And when I first became a director at the Mass Access Board, I learned that this was part of the duties, and I was a little excited. I prepared some jokes, but then as soon as David told his eye doctor joke, I threw them all in the bin, so I don't... Sorry. All right, let's see what category I get to do. We're doing promotional videos, and here are the nominees.
Sorry.
I dedicate this stage to the Fairhaven TV Home for the Holidays virtual show. Drum roll, please. What the?
Vaccinated because I want a shot at getting back on the field with my friends.
I got vaccinated because I want a shot, like everyone in Springfield, to hug again.
Yo me vacuné porque quiero aplaudir a tener una iglesia segura.
I got vaccinated.
I got vaccinated.
I want a shot at seeing my students back in school.
Receiving a vaccination was safe.
I'm gonna get vaccinated because I want a shot at college visits.
I got vaccinated because I want a shot at getting back together with my friends and family.
All right. Tough category, it looks like, but we have a winner with Fairhaven TV's Home for the Holidays parody promo. Congratulations.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed, Mr. Coffee's dead. The morning's looking bright, and your shrink ran off
Fairhaven TV.
And your husband wants to be a girl. Be glad there's one place in the world where
Love those guys.
everybody knows your name.
Nice job. Nice job.
Glad you came.
And we'd like to congratulate Fairhaven TV for covering the most distance from their seats to the stage. The next category is the for-profit category, and I will be introducing this all by myself. So Liz, if you would be so kind as to show the finalists.
In 1933, again well supported by the Mandels, the community house added an addition that would open a new chapter to the organization's history: bowling. The community loved it. Bowling was so popular that in 1957, the community house built a whole separate building to house 8 lanes.
We're walking under the funeral home carport, which now serves as the public entrance to the station on Shank Painter Road. Over here, you can see the new condo construction pressing tightly on one side and the busy shared drive with the Methodist Church on the other. The station does not have public parking for the community. This is the public lobby, the only public space in the building and the place where visitors get their first impression of our town's public safety operations.
And young students with positive learning experiences early in life flourish as successful students throughout their entire educational journey. At SSC's preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten program, students may start at 2 years, 9 months in our 2-day morning preschool, and over the years, graduate on to our 3-day morning preschool, and then our full-day pre-K and kindergarten programs. We also offer extended day programs.
All right. Some great stuff there. There can only be one winner. That winner is Hamilton Wenham Community House from 1623 Studios.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road. You've got no destination in the mind. In the maze of her imagination, your love is down.
You'll notice I'm not brave enough to take the awards out of the box. I'm handing the box. I'm not going to be responsible for breaking any trophies this evening. John Grabowski, why would you like to come back up and do another category? Jonathan, everybody.
Are you asking me or telling me? I'm asking. All right. The next category is Utes. So the nominees are?
The grass with its thick roots holding the soil in place, they'll just make a big mess. The grass won't be able to grow for the whole year. Just do everything in the right order, in the proper time. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. So, have to be patient. That's part of farming, is doing everything in the proper time.
We have a letter exchange program with an elementary school in Spain, and our students have already written the letters to Spain, and today we're actually going to be reading the replies from Spain.
Querido Bradley, me llamo Alvaro.
Next, we take a peek into the interesting life of our faculty members. Math teacher by day, explorer by night. That's right, one of our very own teachers is quite adventurous on his time away from school. Maeve and Parker have more on Mr. Cardoso's recent trip to Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mr. Cardozo, a math teacher at North, teaches geometry, algebra, computer science,
And the winner of the Vinnie Gambini Memorial Utes Mass Creator Award is Pen Pal Project at East Elementary, Harbor Media.
Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some nigga in it. Take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get the stretch.
Nice job. Jonathan says, there's sheep in Cambridge? I said, of course there are. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Hey, Katie Duvall, everybody. You should probably just have stayed closer, you know? Just stop milking it. Jeez, Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Dave. So this is Dave. I don't know if anybody got that. He was David earlier. No, he's got two personalities. It's weird. Okay, I was about to read the winner again. I don't know what I'm doing. Here are the finalists for remote participation. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's when I realized, oh my God, this stuff is real. It's happening. So the first day we kept reaching out to all our family. They were trying to stay brave and telling us that it's okay, we'll be fine. So we're like, you have to flee. So we were begging them to leave, and they would still not believe the full scale of the terror is going to happen. And 7 days later, today's day 7, and the towns are destroyed. You know, there are constant missile blasts on maternity hospitals.
We are launching with a special guest, Chief Don Brewer of the Sharon Police Department. Welcome, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Chief, every year, the police department mobilizes a great effort under the umbrella of Toys for Tots. And this year is, of course, no exception. So we're going to start off by talking a little bit about the history of Toys for Tots with the department. I know it goes back for many years, well before maybe your time as well. But it was initially an effort that really was the military, the Marines, right, began this program.
When we demand the humanity of our people. And those that are offended, they're not going with us. They're not going the same way. Because anytime you deny another person's humanity, you are not fulfilling your obligation on this planet and this earth as what you were sent here to do. We weren't sent here to wear diamond rings, and I got some diamond earrings in my ear, but I know they don't mean nothing because we didn't come here for that.
And the winner is Cape to Ukraine, Lower Cape TV.
I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. Come on, all those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling, so just dance, dance, dance.
5 awards left. How many of you out there are angry that you haven't won an award yet? Just curious. All right. Hey, look who's on our way back up to do the performance category. It's our friend, Liz Harkins. You can clap for her. Here you are.
All right, and the nominees for the performance category are...
Okay, here you go. I'm in an astronaut sphere, I'm looking to the stars. Maybe possibly I could read you and I could teach you. Tell you what it's like and take you with me. You are so convincing. Sending transmissions over intercoms. Little moms, soccer moms, trying to catch a score. Sons on a breakaway, chicken nugget dinosaur. Wanna kiss, wanna hug, appeal, too ill to refrain. Ideas come from those who inspired the genius. Contrive Wikipedia, I need to help the needier.
And the winner for the performance category, Aiming Aimlessly, Quincy Access Television.
Wow, look at this. Look at the effort. You know, the rest of you could learn something from these two. Hey, Nancy, why don't you stop running? I thought you were going to be here in like 2 seconds. Oh, no one wants to hear from me.
All right. The next category is event.
How do I know? Because I used to gig in Provincetown and drive through Wellfleet. After a while, I got to know which cop was which. Jim Crow, Cape Cod style. When I have to give my son the exact same advice that my father gave me, boys, stay out of Sandwich. Cape Cod. Jim Crow, Cape Cod style.
It's a beautiful day. Beautiful people. One love. Don't be afraid to dance. Don't be shy. Everybody come. Let me see it.
This is a great race and it's a great day and it's very emotional with the national anthem and all the patriotic songs along the way. It's just a great way to start the 4th of July.
Leggett's got to get up on him when he gets
Leggett
to that.
definitely does. I mean, one of the things that Green Wave usually is good is giving up pressure at the line of scrimmage. He's giving him way too much of a cushion because the other thing, too, is he's getting caught kind of flat-footed when he's out there. The guy can just curl around him for whatever reason because if he had that, it didn't look like
that's the
he
danger.
was ready to make the tackle.
And I think that's what they were trying to get Leander one-on-one. If he can make the first guy, the cornerback miss.
They're going to do. I think they're going to try to do the same thing, one-on-one with on that flat outside.
Shotgun from Moriarty. Handoff, come around near side, slices through a hole.
And the winner is MIAA Division 6 Super Bowl, Abington versus Rockland, Abington, Community Access Media.
Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the
Before I step down, I just wanted to mention that there are desserts over at the food table, so feel free to grab some desserts. There's brownies and chocolate-covered strawberries, as well as some cookies provided by Charlie Page of Telview.
Somebody out there was asking me about cookies a little earlier. Looking right at them. Yeah. Jim Palmer, my buddy. All right, how about a hand for Rob Chapman once again? And by default, the last two are going to me, so you better make it good, because this is the last one you're going to see.
So, wow, what a lot of great content tonight. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here and see what the work that you guys do. And then we have, for this category, civic engagement. And the nominees are?
This is a great opportunity to celebrate everyone who lives here, no matter your background, culture, sexual orientation, gender.
And having the city really appreciate all walks of life, I think is really important. And that's the biggest thing about Pride, is being proud of who you are so people can be proud that they're from the city.
To me, a good person is a good person, no matter what creed, color, background, or sexual orientation. And today, we celebrate that pride, that diversity.
And I think this is great for the city of Springfield.
To start off our election night coverage, I've invited City Councilors President Susan Albright as well as Vice President Rick Lipoff to join me and discuss a few things, but you can also join the discussion. All you have to do is go on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram and use the hashtag NewTVDecision2021, and we'll try to get to your questions and comments as soon as we can.
We're going to take a look at some more numbers as they keep rolling in.
You'll see there's one over there ready to go. This one will be ready next week. There's a signage here that tells you what you can throw and what you can't throw. But again, the whole thing is recycle and not throwing it in the trash. Every time you recycle it, it gets to be used again. See all the leaves and grass way over there, that brown part to the left? And we take that in big truckloads and we put them way out back, and then I turn them with the loader until it looks like this pile over here.
In the winter and civic engagement is the 2022 Springfield Pride Parade, Focus Springfield Community Television.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold
Nice job. Okay, 2 more left. All right. Here are the finalists for the instructional category.
So some other ingredients that we have are our baking powder, our baking soda, and spices. So with pumpkin bread, there's all kinds of spices. You can use a pre-made pumpkin spice, an allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon by itself. What I've chosen to do is mix all of those spices together in 1 tablespoon. And sometimes I add a little extra. I really, really love the flavor that it brings to pumpkin bread. Those are your dry ingredients.
When he died, I felt like the loneliness was so intense. And I always say that a future with only sadness and sorrow in it is a pretty grim prospect. And I think that it's important to tell your story, like tell it over and over again. And what the problem is, and I call it like the time after the casseroles stop coming, nobody wants to hear the story anymore. And sometimes the only people that really want to hear those stories are people that also lost a piece of their heart.
So I've taken out, in preparation of the package of bees to be shaken in here, I've taken out 5 of the frames. So the 5th frame, I've put a couple of elastics on, which is where the queen is going to be attached in a moment. But before we do that, we're going to install a hive beetle trap. And what you use, and this obviously is self-explanatory, it captures the beetles. So you can use any oil. I just happen to have beetle trap oil.
Beetle trap oil. What'll they think of next? And the winner is Gary Sturgis on the local scene from PAC TV. Congratulations. One more remaining, and so I don't forget, there's extra cushion for your ride home, and somewhere the tops of these boxes are existing, or are they on the bottom? See, the answer to pretty much every question is just ask Katie, and she'll tell you what to do. All right, one more category. Let's take a look at the finalists for the production value category.
Hey guys, the camera in the attic just fell. You guys should go check it out.
How'd that happen?
Okay. Oh, it's like the leg's broken.
We have an extra one downstairs. I'll go get it.
Want us to come with you?
Nah, it's all right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you go do that. We're gonna go scope out the caretaker's apartment.
Get ready, Plymouth North.
Good morning, Plymouth South.
It's time for Falcon TV, Dog TV,
Panther TV,
PNN. All this plus so much more right now on EdTV. EdTV. EdTV Kids.
Welcome to this week's edition of Week in Review. I'm Delilah Coleman.
I'm Katana.
I'm Fernandez.
I'm Haley. And I'm Taylor.
We are honored to present the industry award to Haley Elgar and Taylor Jensen.
I know it's hard to reach out, but remember how I was last month? What really helped him was going to the guidance counselor.
Okay, I guess I'll give it a try.
So just remember all the stuff we talked about today, you know, the positive self-talk, the journaling, and putting yourself first.
All right, let's give this a shot. This is hard, but I think I got this.
Incredible stuff. Incredible, incredible. But the winner is upside down. Hometown Haunts, the caretaker at Rogers School, Fairhaven TV. Here they come again, folks. The whole wagon train from Fairhaven. That's all we got. That's all the awards. Congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to all the finalists. Everybody who makes our industry so vibrant and so awesome here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Please take some desserts, take some photos, and when you do, you're giving me permission to use them on the website. So if you have a problem with that, come and tell me afterwards. So I won't use your likeness in public. All right, thank you very much.